Hey everyone, welcome back. In this video I want to talk about some of the issues and the considerations and just things I'm coming across when I'm working on this project of the lithium battery pack for a small van or a small RV. A brief description of the whole experiment and this project is to try to come up with a DIY lithium-based battery pack for my small Ford Transit Connect van, and see if that's going to be suitable for boondocking, camping, and doing that sort of thing on the cheap. And as I'm starting to begin this project, with the research I've done so far, I'm running into quite a few different issues that need to be considered. So first off, the original idea was to take used batteries from laptops. So I've run into a lot of problems with that, at least here in this particular location. I'm in Phoenix, Arizona area right now, so it's a huge city, and I figured that wouldn't be that big of a deal. So the other day I went to 3 different businesses that take those types of batteries in on recycle. Of those 3 places, I ended up getting 1 battery pack, and the employee at the store told me he wasn't even supposed to give that one to me, but he did. Apparently lithium is a product used in manufacturing crystal meth. So I'm competing with all of the drug manufacturers, illegal drug manufacturers, for those battery packs. And I think that's what's creating some of the problems with being able to acquire them. I'm not saying that it can't be done. I'm just saying that it's proven to be a lot more difficult than I originally anticipated. Unbelievable. I never thought that would be an issue. It didn't even cross my mind. But it is an issue, and it's creating a huge problem. You can go on eBay and just buy boxes full of these old batteries, and it's a lot of work to tear those packs apart and salvage the good cells. So some other alternatives for batteries for this project is to just go buy new ones. One of the problems with that is they're extremely expensive. There are some options to buying some recycled cells from companies that actually, they get stock of these for, say, modems, to power modems or to power equipment from companies that maybe they were manufactured for a company and the company no longer wanted them, so they wholesale the battery packs and somebody goes through and tests them all and then resells them. That's a possibility. They're about a quarter of the price of a brand new pack, and in most cases they're still brand new packs even though they were put into a device of some sort, but the device was never used. So that's probably what I will do when I go to buy in some batteries. The second big issue that I've run across is being able to charge these. And my original idea and the whole plan with this is to create a battery pack that's useful for RV or van life, boondocking type scenarios. So most of the people that are using these battery packs, that they're building DIY stuff and creating these power walls, and a lot of people are using these to create electric bike battery cells and battery packs. Those folks are charging them with AC 110 outlets in their homes, but that's not going to be an option with a mobile setup like what I'm trying to do. So the alternative, or my only option really, is to charge via solar, just like I do my lead acid batteries. And I thought, well, maybe I'll just use my solar charge controller and be able to use that. But that also is not going to be the case. You need a special setup in order to charge lithium-ion batteries. I could make an entire video on this subject alone, but to put it simply is lithium-ion cells are easy to charge, but they are completely different from the charge requirements of like a lead acid or a gel type battery. So using existing lead acid equipment to charge them is just not going to happen. So I've got a couple of ideas in mind after doing some of the research on this, and figured out that there is a way to charge them, and I can actually still charge them via solar. which I'll get into at a later point in another video. I've ordered a little bit of cheap equipment off of Amazon, less than $5 and $10 for a couple of items that I'll be using in this project. But as I said, I'll explain those later when I get into that, and that has all to do with the charging and the management of the battery. That's another subject too. These batteries are comprised of a lot of smaller cells with lower voltages. So in order to charge them and manage them properly, you need a battery management system, just basically a small circuit board circuitry that's inside the battery pack, and it manages the battery voltage so that you don't overcharge or undercharge. If you undercharge the batteries or over discharge the batteries, then you can actually ruin the pack, ruin the battery cell. If you overcharge them, then you're getting into all kinds of potential fire hazards. People say explosion. I don't know if they actually explode, but they can rapidly vent and burst into flames. They could explode, which you're not probably going to encounter that with a regular lead acid type battery or a gel cell type battery. So that's another huge area, and that's really driving where I'm going with this project. And I'm starting to think about other considerations. So safety is basically my main consideration with this. The guys that are building these huge power banks that are hanging in their shops and garages and shed walls and stuff, those are just stationary and they're not moving around. But in my case, it's going to be in the van. I don't know if it's going to be, but the idea was to use it in the van. So it's going to be bouncing around. It's subject to all the vibrations, the road vibrations and so forth as you're driving from spot to spot and camping and dirt roads and all of this. So the battery needs to be pretty robust. If you go online and you look at some of these lithium ion battery packs or just lithium in general, when that stuff catches fire because of a short or overcharged situation, it becomes a lethal fireball that really can't be put out, even with a fire extinguisher in a lot of cases. So I don't know if it's going to be a practical thing to do for a van or an RV type setup. Now the batteries that you spend a lot of money for that are commercially produced, they have a lot of built-in features or safety features and precautions to prevent this, and that's part of what goes into the expense of those batteries, since it's lithium ion. So doing this on a DIY basis, honestly, at this point, I don't know if it's going to be a practical thing to do. But for the sake of experimentation and the fact that I think it'll be a fun project, I'm going to continue with the project and at least get it to the point where I build a battery pack and use it as a test platform. I'm still going to be doing all the testing. I'm going to be doing this, though, in my shop when I get back home, which will be here in about a month. I'll be headed back to Iowa and have a setup to where I can test this stuff using my refrigerator, some LED lights, and just chargers and stuff, all of the things that you would be using in a mobile situation. So I hope you stay tuned. I'm still continuing with the project. We're still going to learn a lot out of this, and it's going to be fun to go through and experiment. Now there are a couple of other things that I wanted to briefly touch on before I wrap up this video. There's already some lithium ion systems in place that you can purchase and use for this that are factory produced, and I would assume that have all of the safety precautions built into them because they are built with lithium ion. There's a Jackaroo, I believe it's called. That's a pretty popular one that's out right now. They have 2 or 3 models. Honda is coming out with or putting their name on that particular model, so they obviously, if Honda's putting their name on it, they've come up with a way to found a way to make it a safe alternative to portable power. Goal Zero is another huge one. They've had them for years, but they're also built with these cells, using those as portable power supplies for boondocking and that sort of thing. But basically, that's what I'm doing with this. I'm building myself a DIY Jackaroo or a DIY lithium power bank or power source in order to use it in a remote boondocking or RV on the road type application. I hope you enjoy the series. Thanks for riding along, and if you haven't already, or if you're new to my channel, hit the subscribe button, and if you want to hit that bell button, you can also be notified of new videos. Like I said, I'll be doing a whole series on this. It should be a fun project, so I hope you are able to follow along with me on this as we go through and find out if this is going to be a complete bust or if there's something to it. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll catch you on the next one.